Okay, to the market. Okay.
I think that's
Okay.
much.
Yeah, that's perfect competition according to Arik. Okay, anyone else? Thank you, Arik. Abdullah.
All right, so from my perspective,
Mm-hmm.
I think perfect competition is a competition where two or more companies is competing on selling the same identical product but not perfect, which
Mm-hmm.
it's like substitutes. For example, like it's a
Mm-hmm.
tea, but then there's like different species of tea, different breeds of tea, but there
Mm-hmm.
will be no tea which is perfect for everyone. Everyone has preferences, right? And in this perfect competition, usually there's like a large numbers of buyers and sellers, and
Mm-hmm.
companies can just exit and enter the brand or the what is it, the product that they sell without
Mm-hmm.
any like consequences. And yeah, I think the most important thing is that there is like no negligible or until no price control. So it's a very good start point for businesses to start. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Abdullah and Arik. Yeah. Anyone else? Anyone else? I think what Abdullah and Arik says mostly are right, yeah, but not all of them that they say are right. Yeah, we're right. Okay. Yes. In perfect competition, there are a lot of competition among the firms. Yeah, inside there in the market. But yeah, but the firm in the market they don't have any brand. Okay, so in perfect competition, they have no brand at all. In here, okay, let me write it down here. Okay, so they don't have any brand. Yeah, so this is no brand. Yeah. And like Abdullah say, that the product that people sell in the perfect competition market is quite identical. Yeah, they quite similar from one product to another product. Okay, and uh, people or businessmen or businesswoman, yeah, they can come and go to the market easily, free enter. There's no big obstacle. Yeah, so anyone can join to the perfect competition market. Yeah, because it is very easy to come and very easy to stop your business. If you want to stop your business right away, go ahead, and it's okay. The market still surviving, yes, still going on. And if you want to start right now, then you have an ability to start right now, because you don't have to have big money or big or good technology or high technology, yeah, or very specific labor, yeah, with skillful labor, something like that. So you don't need all of those. Yeah, so this is the product that is very simple, yeah, very simple product. But the player in this perfect competition market, there are many, yeah, many, I said many because a lot, yeah, there are a lot, not only many but a lot, yeah, a lot of people who play in this perfect competition market. Okay, now I want you, after you hearing my explanation and explanation from Abdullah and from Arik, now I want you to give the example. Will you give the example for the perfect competition? Anyone? Do you have any example? Abdullah said about tea. Yeah. But which tea? Okay. Some tea are they have branded on it. Okay. But other teas maybe just bulk tea that we can just have it in the market. Yeah, in the real market, yeah, not in the supermarket, yeah, in the real market, like in Pasar Cordon, yeah, or Pasar Baru, or pasar whatever pasar, yeah, in Indonesia. Yeah, if there's no brand, then we can categorize that as a perfect competition product. Okay, Abdullah, what do you
Uh,
want to say?
Thank you, Miss. From my own perspective, I think there is like no perfect competition. It's like what is it? Expecting a nearly elastic product. It's near impossible. Sorry, there
Right.
is like loud motorcycle in my area.
Okay.
Okay, there it passed. I think the closest that a product can be perfect competition is like internet-related industries, because there's just so much providers out there and so little differences on the product, and the product are near perfect, but they have their own like minus and pros and cons, which makes them like a good choice for some people, but not for other people. So yeah, I think internet is the best example.
Internet, you said internet. Okay. Internet. I'm internet provider. Do you mean internet provider?
Internet generally, miss. Yeah.
Oh, internet in
Provider.
general.
Yeah.
Okay, internet in general. Okay. As a product, yeah, internet in general. Okay. Okay. Let's just write it down. Okay. I wrote it down. Okay. Thank you. Anyone else want to give example for the perfect competition?
Oh, I'm sorry, miss. I have another Fajar first. Go ahead.
Okay. Hajar?
Okay, miss, thank you.
Yeah.
What about fruit in the traditional market?
Fruit, yeah.
Yeah,
Fruit in traditional. Why did you decide to say fruit as a perfect competition product?
because in the traditional market, I think fruit is not have brands, and there are many people sell it. So this the part of perfect competition maybe.
Okay. Okay, good. Yeah. Thank you, Fajar, yeah. Fajar. Yeah, fruits in the traditional market, yeah. Fruit in traditional market, there's no brand for the fruit, yeah. We can say that if you want to buy an orange, there's all the orange are the same for the whole market, yeah, for the whole seller in that traditional market. Okay, so there is no brand, yeah, and the people who sell it, there are a lot of people who sell the fruits, yeah, the same orange, yeah, in that same traditional market. Okay, so yes, I think that's good, yeah. Fruit is good, yeah. Anybody else want to give an example? What else? There's no brand, so the product is typical, similar, right? Yeah. Internet. For internet, I don't think we consider it as a perfect competition, because internet it cannot just stand alone. Yeah, internet usually is sold by or provided by a company, right? For provide by a telecommunication company, right? So the internet is bundled, yeah. They sold bundled, uh, very specific, yeah, with the brand usually, right? Like IndiHome, yes, the brand for the internet, yeah, the provider I use IndiHome. Maybe other family they use First Media, yeah, or other provider or other internet provider, yeah. So they are very specific. They are very specific, and for one provider to another provider, there are not many. Yeah, there are not a lot. There are not many. Just only few provider for internet. Okay, so I don't consider that internet as part of the perfect competition. Okay, so let me erase this. Okay, so I need another example for the perfect competition. Anyone else? Come on. Yes, Abdullah. No brand.
I have another example, sir. Miss, I mean, sorry. I think like food in general is I think is I'm so sorry. I am very sorry. The motorcycle.
Okay.
I think food in general is a very almost very perfect competition because the thing is there is no perfect competition even in foods, right? There is like branded food like what is it, Wagyu melon in Japan? It's like worth $100, and the fruit and the taste is not even that different. So yeah, I think there is no like perfect competition because
Exactly.
in, yeah. So vegetables, I think, as close to then
Mm-hmm.
like plant-based foods. I think plant-based foods is like
Is
the
that
best
what did you say
example.
it again?
Plant-based foods, miss, like
What it?
vegetables.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Vegetables.
vegetables. And then
Okay.
like
Yeah.
I think that's all, miss. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Right now, actually, yeah, for vegetables and fruits, if we can look further, yeah, deeper, they have a variety. Yeah, they have variety. Like what Abdullah said. There's some melon come from the Japan. There's a quality of the melon is very different with the melons in here, and there's another like a durian as well. Yeah, there is a local durian that is very much different, very much similar, yeah, all around Indonesia. But there is durian montong that we imported from Thailand, and it's quite different. Yeah, but the idea here for the profit competition, actually the product or service they are has no brand, so no brand at all. Yeah, but like durian montong from the Thailand or durian musang from Malaysia, they already have brand musang and have a brand montong. Yeah, so they have brand. But in traditional market, if durian is sold in traditional market, yeah, and in Indonesia, in part of Indonesia, is looks like the same. Yeah, they are the same. Durian in Sumatra, in Jawa, yeah, they are just durian. Yeah, we can say just durian. Okay, so and there's no brand for that. Yeah, no brand for that. Maybe there's some kind of characters like maybe in Java, yeah, in Java. There's the name of durian Petruk or whatever, yeah, or durian Jambi. Yeah, this name of the location, yeah, of the location. But it's quite the same, yeah. But there is no brand yet, yeah. If there is brand, that brand is belong to the company, yeah. That brand is always belong to the company. Okay, so this is there's no company has that brand, yeah, has that kind of brand for durian. Yeah, so the example is vegetables. Yeah, in traditional market, that is why we say it in traditional market. Okay, not in supermarket. When the products go to the supermarket, they're gonna have a brand. Yeah, like organic vegetable or organic fruits, then they're gonna put their name on it. So they have brands. But if you buy the vegetables and fruits in the traditional market, there's no brand at all. Yeah. The sender, the seller, vendor, yeah, from one vendor to another vendor, they just selling the quite similar vegetable like tomatoes. They're all the same tomatoes, yeah, in one vendor to another vendor. So, and there's not quite different. Okay, so that's what we call the perfect competition. I hope you understand. Now you are clear. Then you can make a differentiation or identify which market or which product or service that belong to perfect competition market. Okay. Uh, Another thing is I want to give you another example. This is vegetable in traditional market, yeah. Okay. And then I want to give you another example, which is the gorengan. I think anyone here know what is gorengan, right? Bala-bala, pisgor, whatever is it, yeah, gehu, gorengan. They are a perfect competition product. Yeah, one vendor to another vendor, they sell quite same or similar bala-bala. Yeah, the price is about the same or the same. Yeah, the price the same, the taste the same. Yeah, and then the size is usually are the same. So they have a similarity. They have a very high similarity from a seller to another seller when they sell gorengan, right? Because in the perfect competition, the seller, they cannot set the price. Yeah, the seller cannot set the price. The price is belong to the market, and the market who decide how much the price for that. Yeah, like gorengan for one vendor to another vendor. I don't know what is gorengan in around Telkom University. How much is it? 1,000 a piece or 2,000 a piece? Maybe 1,000 a piece. Yeah. If one vendor in Telkom University want to raise the price of the bala-bala become 2,000 or 3,000, maybe she or he will not have a buyer. Yeah, his buyer will switch to another seller, right? Who provide or who sell their bala-bala for $1,000. So the not $1,000, sorry, 1,000 rupiah. $1,000 is very expensive, yeah. 1,000 rupiah. So the price is really decided by the market. Okay. Yeah. So nobody, no vendors, no player in perfect competition can set the price. Yeah, they can just accept the price that coming from the market itself. Ya, oke. So this is the gorengan ya. Jadi ini juga bagian dari perfect competition. Ya. And tadi what Abdullah said, but I forget. Maybe later if I remember, then I tell you. Okay. Okay. Now, do you have any question or comment for the perfect competition? Perfect competition market? Any comment? No? Okay. You don't have any question or comment, then we're not gonna talking about this, yeah. So let me erase this because this is gonna be too much. Yeah. Jadi our topic today is that 4 type of market structure with the profit maximization, yeah. Each of the type of the market structure, they have profit maximization by itself. Yeah, they have different characteristic how to maximize their profit. Okay. Okay, then this is, I think we already discussed this. Yeah, this is talking about perfect competition. So in the perfect competition, we have large number of buyer, yeah, and all the buyers, and not only the buyer, but the buyer and seller, ya. Buyer and seller, they are price taker. Ya, ya udah terima harga aja, ya. Jadi nggak bisa ngeset harga. Okay, price taker, we already said, already discussed it, and then a large number of seller, and then the product are identical. Ya, jadi kayak bala-bala tadi sama aja antara satu vendor dengan vendor yang lain mirip-mirip, harganya sama, ukurannya sama, rasanya mirip, ya kan? Ukurannya mirip. Nah, so it's identical, ya. Identical product. Begitu juga tadi sayur dan buah-buahan di pasar tradisional. Oke. Kemudian full information, all the buyer and seller has full information. So if that's mean like this. If the price of bala-bala is 1,000 rupiah a piece, yeah, then that's the information is for all of us, yeah, the buyer and the seller. Then if somebody want to sell the bala-bala for 5,000, okay, nobody won't buy it because you know the price. The price of bala-bala is not 5,000. The price of bala-bala is only 1,000. Okay, so nobody want to buy the bala-bala with the price of 5,000 rupiah. Okay, That's mean we have the full information about the price, yeah, about the products and service, yeah. And the seller as well, they know the price of bala-bala is 1,000 rupiah a piece. If he want to sell more, like 5,000 rupiah a piece, then he's not gonna have a buyer for that. And he already know that if you put the higher prices, then I think nobody will buy their bala-bala. Yeah, his consumer will switch to another seller. Okay, that's mean they have or we have full information about the bala-bala. Okay, there's no information being hide. Ya, jadi nggak ada tuh informasi-informasi yang di apa namanya ditutup-tutupin gitu ya. Nanti nggak beda nanti dengan oligopoli ya atau di monopoli. Oke, jadi ini full information. Oke, and then negligible transaction cost, there's no transaction cost or negligible ya. Jadi kalau kita beli bala-bala nggak ada fee-nya ya. We don't have to pay fee to buy bala-bala or to buy vegetable or fruits in a traditional market. Yeah, there's no fee for that. Okay, but if you buy the vegetable or the fruits in the supermarket, you may have fee. Yeah, but transaction fee. But maybe you don't care about that or you don't aware about that. Yeah, it is in the price of the fruit and vegetable itself. That is why their price is higher, much higher than in the traditional market. Yeah, jadi that's the transaction cost that can be embedded in the supermarket for the product that they sell. Okay, then free enter and exit. See, anyone can just if you want to buy, if you want to be a seller of bala-bala, you can just do it tomorrow. Yeah, you just can just buy some eggs, some cabbage, whatever the material for the bala-bala, and you already have the kitchen for to do that as well. So it's very easy to come to enter to the market. And people who sell bala-bala, they can just stop selling it anytime they like. Yeah, there will not be apa istilahnya, nggak akan ada kerusuhan atau ya nggak, ya pasar tetap berjalan ya, the market still keep going on gitu ya. They don't care if there's one bala-bala seller is quit from the market selling the bala-bala, or one person is not buying bala-bala in the market. They just don't care because there is other buyers and sellers that is much higher than the one that quit. Yeah, the one that quit. Okay. This is the characteristic for perfect competition. I hope you all understand. Yeah, and already discussed about this. Now I want to before I go to the for maximize profit, maximize profit. I'm gonna back to this. The second one. Anyone want to give if you want to give explanation about monopolistic competition, or you want to give an example, go ahead. Let me hear it. Anyone, please? Dinda, yeah, go ahead, Dinda.
Okay, ma'am. So based on what I know, monopolistic competition is like a sort of market structure which consists of a lot of business or like companies in a given sector of industry where they produce similar but different products, like a different, for example, different products is like different quality levels and like different marketing strategies. And for the example, I think it's grocery stores.
Okay, grocery stores. Can you give example of grocery stores? What is that? Like what?
Like the
Like
exact grocery or
Yeah, the grocery stores that you mean. Is it
Mm.
like Indomaret or what's that? Or
It's like Super Indo, Gria,
Super
and
Indogria?
others.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, grocery store. Yeah. 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 Okay. Good. Thank you, Dinda. Yeah. Do you want to still wanna continue your thought?
No, ma'am. I think I'm done.
Okay. Okay. You done. Okay. Good. Yeah. Grocery store. Okay. Good. Dinda. Okay. I wanna hear from others, please.
Miss
Yes.
Miss is Microsoft
Who's that?
monopolistic company? It's Nazmi, Nazmi.
My Nice me. Okay, nice me. What
Yeah.
did you say? Microsoft?
Yes,
Mic
Microsoft. Microsoft.
mm,
Is it in
Microsoft.
the monopolistic company? Yes.
No. Yeah, Microsoft, yeah. Microsoft is not in actually is not in monopolistic competition. Okay. I consider Microsoft as an oligopoly or maybe monopoly. Okay. But not in a monopolistic competition.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay.
Because Microsoft is the only software provider operating software operating what do you call it, operating, right, operating stuff provider for the all the computer all around the world, right? There's only one Microsoft, no other things, only Microsoft and the one from Apple, right? There are only two types of that operating, what's that, what do you call it, operating software, yeah, for the computer, right? So I don't think that Microsoft can be categorized as a monopolistic competition. Okay, that's me. Yeah, Abdullah. So I raise
Okay,
this.
Miss. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I want to defend Nazmi answer, Miss, because well, there is like Microsoft, Linux, iOS, and then like Android, etc. There's like at least 5 to 10 operating system that is being used. But then Microsoft always like what is it, beat all of them because the
Mm-hmm.
demand in the market
Mm-hmm.
is to like
Mm-hmm.
have simplicity.
Mm-hmm.
And Microsoft succeeded in all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like yeah, majorly, mostly Microsoft. They won. So does that not make it monopolistic competition, Miss?
Yeah. Yeah, but the categories for Microsoft is not in a monopolistic competition. Yeah, maybe categorize it as an oligopoly or maybe monopoly. Yeah, sini we can say this is the Microsoft. That's because like what I said before, that all the computer in the world, yeah, all over the world, they use the operating system Microsoft for the for all name brand of your computer. They must be used the Microsoft, right? Am I right or wrong? Is that what you said, Abdullah? What is that? I heard you said something like any brand, like what is that? That I didn't exactly catch it, or I didn't get
Oh,
it.
the brand that have the same function of Microsoft?
Uh huh. Mm-hmm. What is that? Do you have that? Any brand?
Yeah. So it's Microsoft, Linux, Mac
Linux?
OS,
No.
Android,
Yeah, Linux.
iOS, Unix.
Yeah, Linux, iOS. Nah, but they already. I think they are pretty much the same with the Microsoft, right? Linux, iOS. The difference is Android. Android is this is for the Android is especially for the handphone, right? For the handphone, but for the computer, they usually Microsoft, yeah. They usually use Microsoft. Name that your computer is made from that have brand Lenovo or whatever, or Dell or HP or whatever the brand name of your laptop or computer. They all must install Microsoft in their laptop, right? As an operating system. Otherwise, your computer will not cannot be used, right? But if your laptop is an Apple one, then the Apple has a operating system by itself, right? So there is only there are two operating system in this world, right? Microsoft and Apple. Yeah. So I can just say that they can have a not an oligopoly but more to monopoly, right? Because like Abdullah said, Microsoft is always win. Yeah, whenever there is a new firms start, yeah, to make a new operating system. Yeah, but because all of us using Microsoft, then it is not gonna be compatible, yeah, with the newcomer operating system. So the operating system that is newer, and then they are brand new, they have to be very skeptic, yeah, and then very careful because the Microsoft is already used by people all around the world. Ya, jadi, ya itu dah. Jadi kalau Microsoft kan emang udah mendunia banget ya. Kalau misalkan ada perusahaan yang mau membuat operating system yang baru, dia pasti mulai dari kecil ya, nggak bisa langsung sebesar Microsoft. Dan kalau misalkan kita disuruh make, kita juga mungkin, if they asking us to use their new operating system, maybe we gonna think about it ya. How it's compatible with others, yeah, because we have to collaborate. We're not working alone by ourselves. Yeah, I have to collaborate with my students, with my coworkers, and so on and such, right? So all the operating system has to be the same, otherwise it's not going to be compatible, and I'm going to have a problem for that, something like that. Yeah. So so I consider the Microsoft maybe in monopoly, yeah, because there is only Microsoft and Apple. Or maybe we can say that this is here an oligopoly, because there is Microsoft and Apple. Yeah, only two in the world that selling the operating system. Yeah, and Apple. Okay, now go back to monopolistic competition. What is monopolistic competition? Persaingan bersifat monopolistik, ya. Jadi dia sifatnya looks like a monopoly, ya. But in monopoly there is no competition, ya. So there is nggak ada persaingannya. Kalau di monopoli nggak ada persaingannya. But this the player in a monopolistic competition, they act like a firm in a monopolies market structure, ya. Only they have to compete with other firms. Okay, they have to compete with other firms. Yeah. So tadi like Dinda said, this is a grocery store. Yes, I agree with Dinda. There's a grocery store because they sell this. They usually in a monopolistic competition they sell pretty similar. Only they have brand. Yeah, the difference with the perfect competition, there's no brands at all. Yeah, but monopolistic competition, they have brands. Yeah, like Gria, Superindo, yeah, itu they have brand Superindo, Gria, yeah. So you may choose which one, yeah. And they have a pricing strategy as well, yeah, for the grocery store, yeah. And I considered maybe Indomaret or Alfamart, we can categorize it as a monopolistic competition. Are you guys agree with me? Do you?
Miss, how about fast food, Miss? Fast food restaurants.
Fast food restaurant, yeah. Fast food restaurants like what? Like
McDonald's.
KFC, McDonald's,
Yes. KFC.
Pizza Hut, yeah. I think that's not in a monopolistic competition, but I will consider it. Those fast food is in here in oligopoly. Yeah, this is fast food restaurant, yeah. For example, KFC, yeah, KFC, McD, McD, Pizza Hut, yeah. Then what else? Other burger, BBK, yeah, etc. Yeah, we call it. I will consider it is a oligopoly. Now I want to rethink, yeah, about the grocery store. About the grocery store, is there many grocery store that's around us, or we just count it as much as our fingers? The grocery stores, not the numbers, yeah, but the name of the grocery stores.
Well, there's only a couple, Miss. I think it's like the operating system. Like there's only a couple. There's not much.
Yeah, there's not much. I don't. Yeah, so I don't think that the grocery stores can be. We can uh, masukin the in monopolistic competition, right? I think it is more suit if we put it in the oligopoly, yeah, because there is only several grocery stores, right? Like Gria, like in Bandung, you can just name it, right? Gria, Superindo, what else? Transmart, beda ada. Yeah, right? Transmart and what else?
Transmart, Jogja, Giant, or Giant Coast,
Jogja is the same with the Gria, Giant, maybe, yeah, Giant. So
Borma,
only four.
Tokma,
Borma, so not many, right? So we
Alfamart,
can just
Indomart.
Alfamart, Indomart. So yeah, we can just calculate. We just count it with our own fingers, right? So we can consider this a grocery store. It's here, grocery store. Yes, Abdullah. Yes.
I think from the explanation that I received, I think I do know one example, which
Mhm.
is I think hotels, Miss.
Hotels, right? Yeah, but yeah, hotels with the types of hotels, yeah, and penginapan hotels, right? Yeah, I agree with you. We can just say it is monopolistic competition because almost yeah, there's some of them you just yeah, there's a small one, there's a big one. The big one maybe we can put it in an oligopoly, but the small one maybe it can be in a monopolistic competition, yeah, because they are quite similar, and there are uh, act like a monopoly firm. That means they can just put their own price. They can set their own price, yeah. And then they have a brand, yeah. They have brand specific characteristic. Okay, good, yeah, Abdullah. It is a good example. Any example for the monopolistic competition? Do you know? Maybe if I said cafe, yeah,
Be like restaurant, Miss.
yeah, restaurant or cafe, yeah. They are a lot, yeah, restaurant. There are a lot around us, right? They have a kind of brand. They have brand, ya, tapi yang jual juga banyak gitu ya. The firms or the sellernya many, ya. Kalau yang number one ini the sellernya a lot, ya, many ya. Kalau in number two ini many, ya banyak, yang jualannya banyak, ya. Cafe, restoran, ya, itu considered as many. Okay, yes, Abdullah.
I want to give another example, Miss. I think
Okay.
like a clothing brand like Gucci and then like what is it, Eager, etc. Miss.
Okay.
I think that goes into monopolistic competition.
monopolistic Gucci. I don't think Gucci goes to the monopolistic competition. Do you think is it a monopolistic? Why did you consider Gucci or Eager as a monopolistic competition? Maybe not many firms selling the outdoor fashion like Eager, right? And what else? Not many. I don't think so. So maybe it goes to the oligopoly. Yeah, it goes to
Sorry, miss.
oligopoly.
I want to elaborate my answer further.
Okay.
So like it's not just like eager and stuff like that for outdoor, but the thing is, I was talking about clothing, like clothing in general. I think
Okay.
it's a very monopolistic competition, miss.
Okay, yeah, I
Yes.
agree with you. If the clothing in general, we're not talking about the brand, then we can go to the monopolistic competition, right? Because they have their like their own brand, but their brand is not big enough. Yeah, but there are lot of people who sell with other brands. Yeah, with their own brands. Yeah, yeah. Yes, I agree with you, Abdullah. But if we're talking about the branded product like Gucci or what's that Eager, something like that, they already more specific. Yeah, they already be specific. So I think that we can just categorize them in the oligopoly. Yeah, but the general clothes, yeah, we can just put it in the monopolistic competition. Maybe I can give you an example. Yeah, clothes like Abdullah said in a general, like uh, the company or the firms who sell uh, baju-baju, ya, baju kemeja laki-laki, shirt or t-shirt or blouses, ya, we can just put that as a monopolistic competition, ya, because there are a lot. There are not lot, sorry. There are many. Yeah, there are many. Okay, there are many. Okay, good. So anyone wanna give an example? Maybe for the monopolistic competition or oligopoly or monopoly, go ahead. If you have a thought or example, please tell me.
For maybe natural gas or oil.
What's that for? Are you talking about oligopoly or monopoly, Ajmi?
Uh,
Or monopolistic competition?
Monopoly.
Monopoly? What did you
Monopoly.
say?
Yeah. Natural
Say it
gas
again.
or like oil. Natural gas.
Oil. Okay.
Yeah, or oil.
Oil.
Natural gas.
Oil. Gas. Okay. Monopoly. Yeah, as a product, oil and gas is actually similar, like Abdullah said about the uh, mm, in the very first uh, early in our early class. But I'm sorry, I forget about that. Okay, internet, yeah, like internet, oil, gas. Yeah, people use it now. People use it a lot, yeah, especially oil and gas. Yeah, almost all of the people in Indonesia we use oil and gas. Yeah, oil and gas actually they provide by a company. Yeah, a company who explore and make oil. Yeah, maybe you know the brand, Indonesian brand, maybe is a Pertamina. But if it's not Indonesian, maybe there is BP. Yeah, or maybe there is Caltex, or maybe there is what is in Malaysian seller for the gasoline. What is that? Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah. So I don't think that the oil and gas company that goes to the monopoly. Yeah, I think they are more suitable if we put it in oligopoly here. Yeah, so this is oil and gas company. Yeah. because there are only several. Yeah, there are only several. Okay, only several who sell gas or gasoline in Indonesia. Yeah, there's only you can just count it with your fingers. Yeah, like Pertamina, BP, Caltech, what else? Yeah, there's not many. Yeah, there are not many. Okay, there are not many in the when they're selling their oil and gas here in Indonesia. Okay, so oil and gas companies, yeah, we consider it as an oligopoly. Okay, because jadi kalau oligopoli itu jarang, ya, ya kita bisa hitunglah pakai jari kita sendiri ya, nggak banyak, nggak lebih dari jari yang kita milikin ya. Ya, jari kaki maupun jari tangan ya, no more than that, okay. That's we consider that's oligopoly. Jadi kita katakan itu jarang, ya. But monopolistic competition is banyak. Ya, jadi kayak jualan baju, banyak yang jualan baju. Ya kan, baju secara umum ya, yang jualan baju secara umum tuh banyak banget. Ya, tapi baju nggak bisa kita masukin ke perfect competition karena harganya beda-beda. Ya, kalau monopolistic competition dia masih bisa kasih harga, dia masih bisa netapin harga. Ya, tergantung demand-nya. Oke, kalau yang di perfect competition sama sekali dia nggak bisa menetapkan harga. Ya, kalau dia netapin harga, pembelinya langsung pindah ke penjual yang lain. Oke, nah ini bedanya itu ya. Jadi perfect competition and then monopolistic competition and then an oligopoly and the last one is monopoly. Anyone want to give the example for monopoly? Please. Yes, Arik.
I think from like from my point of view, I think it's the electricity, the PLN, because I don't see any like the electricity provider other than PLN.
Power company ya, power provider
Yes.
ya, is PLN.
Yes.
Okay, good. This is for in Indonesia. This is the only company who provide power for our power ya, for our electricity. The only one ya. Yes, this is good example ya. There's the only one and there is only PLN. But in other country like Singapore or Malaysia or United States, there are some of the company who provide the power of electricity. Yeah, not like in Indonesia. There's only one provider for power electricity. Yes, good, Arik. Any example? Anyone else want to give an example for monopoly? There are a lot in Indonesia. The company that we consider as a monopoly. Can say that PDAM. And there's only one company in the area that provide clean water, yeah, which is the PDAM. Okay, there's no other company. Yeah, in our city, in our city Bandung, there's only one PDAM who provide the clean water. Yes, Abdullah.
Thank you, Miss. So I want to give an example for the monopoly. So I think the patents that an inventor like made, if you have like the rights to a certain product or design, I think that's just pure monopoly, Miss. Because if others want to copy or to like make an identical product, they have to buy the rights from the inventor, Miss.
What is it? Say it again. What is the name?
Patent, Miss.
Patent.
Product. Yeah.
Something like this.
No, like let me use the chat.
Will you spell it for me?
It's P-A-T. Wait, hold on. P-A-T-E-N-T, Miss.
Patent. Okay, patent. Okay, yes. Yes, patent is part of the monopoly. Yeah, I agree with you. But patent itself is not a product. Yeah, patent is not a product. Patent is just a term that we put in the product. Yeah, so the product can be easily copy, yeah, by other company. Yes, if you're talking a monopoly, we're talking about patent. Yeah, and sini. So patent itself is not a product. Okay. And yeah, so if you're talking about monopoly, we're talking about patent. Yes, Abdullah.
Service, how about Google, Miss?
Google. Yeah, Google. If we search, yeah, we search something now, only we use only Google, yeah, no other service, yeah. Yes, Arik.
I don't think was it agree with Abdul about Google because there's a lot of like other
Okay.
providers, for example, like Firefox and Microsoft Edge. But yeah, Google is surely like dominance in the market, but I don't think
Mhm.
that is. I
Okay.
don't think that Google is what is it, monopoly.
Okay. So there's other searching engine, yeah, beside Google.
Yes, ma'am.
There is other. Okay. Okay. Yeah, Azmi. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Azmi, are you
Miss, I
going to say
think,
something?
Miss, I think Kereta Api Indonesia is Miss. PT Kereta
Okay,
Api Indonesia.
KAI,
Miss.
yeah. PTKI. Okay. Yeah. So maybe Google, so we can consider Google as here in oligopoly, yeah, because there are only some search engine, yeah, search engine in our in around us, yeah, Google's atau search engine company, ya. Okay. Okay, KAI, yeah, PT KAI is the only train transportation provider in Indonesia, ya, the only one, ya. And yeah, so we can consider PT KAI as the monopoly in monopoly market. Okay, good, Nasmi. Okay, so I think we already know now, give an example for each of the market structure that we learn here, from the perfect competition to monopolistic competition and then oligopoly and then the monopoly, right? Yeah, and I'm gonna talk more about the patent here. Yeah, the patent. Patent is only belong in monopoly. Yeah, patent is not belong to the other market structure, but patent is only belong in monopoly. Why patent? But there is many kind of patent. Yeah, there is a natural patent. Natural patent. There is there's no, I'm sorry, not natural patent. There's patent usually issued by the government. Yeah, the government need to issue patent to protect that company, so the company can grow or can have can survive in their environment. Yeah, because let me give an example, yeah, for the patent. Like for the apa namanya, kalau kita disuntik imunisasi apa sih, kalau kita COVID kemarin tuh kita dapat apa, disuntik
Vaksin.
vaksin, ya, vaksin. Ya, vaksin. Vaksin is in patent, right? Usually patent, the easiest example is for the pharmaceutical company. Yeah, pharmaceutical company who have to obtain or create new medicine, yeah, for a certain penyakit, ya, for a certain illness, ya. Jadi they need to be protected by the government, because if they don't get protected by the government, their product can be a copy by other companies. Yeah, if their product is earned copy by other company, then they don't have ability to sell more. Yeah, because their keuntungan, the profit, their profit can be just shared to other companies. Yeah, that is why the government protect that firm, yeah, to have some certain of time for the patent that given to them. Jadi biasanya paten itu ada waktunya ya, waktunya juga lama, about 10 years or 20 years or maybe 30 years. Yeah, after that, after the time is expired, then other company may copy that product. Karena apa? Karena tadi kayak pharmaceutical gitu ya, mereka perusahaan yang menciptakan obat-obat baru tuh kan they need R&D ya, research and development. And the fund ya for the research and development is very high. It's a huge money. We need a huge money for that. So if they don't get protected by the government, they cannot pay back their expenses for the research and their development, yeah, and for their research and development. So this is patent is part of the creation from the government for the companies who create a new thing, yeah, to innovate new product that useful for people, yeah, and not only useful but needed for people. Ya, jadi kalau produk-produk yang sifatnya dibutuhkan ya untuk orang banyak, ya, untuk hajat hidup orang banyak itu biasanya kalau misalkan sebuah perusahaan itu menciptakan produk, nah produknya itu biasanya dikasih paten. Ya, untuk apa? Yaitu untuk memproteksi perusahaan tersebut supaya bisa balik modal. Ya, kalau nggak diproteksi, bisa jadi dia nggak akan balik modal dan bisa jadi that company can be bankrupt. Ya, kalau udah bankrupt ya udah jadi malah nggak bisa membuat inovasi lagi kan. They cannot make an innovation or product creation, ya. So they need to be protected and they have a monopoly. Ya, they have a monopoly kesempatan untuk bermonopoli ya, monopoly chance to do their business. Oke. That's patent ya. Jadi monopoli itu emang ada yang dibikin, sengaja dibikin dan biasanya usually a government set a monopoly for a certain company. Like here in PLN ya, because PLN all of people in Indonesia need power and saat ini belum ada perusahaan swasta yang bisa mengalahi PLN atau yang bisa menyaingi PLN sehingga PLN menjadi satu-satunya. There's the only company in Indonesia who provide power electricity. Yeah, so PLN is belong to the government, right? Is the BUMN. The company belong to government. So most of the BUMN or company belong to government, they usually have a monopoly action for their business. Yeah, because the government need to make the people welfares better, yeah, can be provide to all of the people in Indonesia. Ya, jadi emang nggak ada batasannya, semuanya harus dapat, semuanya harus punya dan bisa merasakan listrik gitu ya. Jadi makanya listrik itu dibikin sebagai monopoli di Indonesia. Ya. Jadi itu adalah bagian dari government policy ya, government policy. And it is very quite common ya for the country. There is kalau negara-negara baru ya, biasanya kayak negara-negara baru or Indonesia in 40 years back ya, kayak 40 tahun yang lalu, 50 tahun yang lalu. Most of the companies in Indonesia are belong to the government. Ya, karena pada saat itu belum banyak perusahaan-perusahaan swasta yang muncul. Nah, perusahaan-perusahaan pemerintah ini ada muncul karena apa? Karena untuk memperbaiki hajat hidup orang banyak. Ya, the government has the obligation to make welfare for all the people in Indonesia. Yeah, so the government, they create some companies that belong to the governments, but they operate, they serve the people in Indonesia. Ya, to serve people in Indonesia. Jadi biasanya seperti itu ya di awal-awal negara-negara yang baru merdeka ya biasanya banyak perusahaan-perusahaannya yang sifatnya monopoli. Oke, dan biasanya dimiliki oleh pemerintah ya, biasanya dimiliki oleh pemerintah. Oke, itu ya. Jadi makanya ada paten ini. Oke. Okay, now any question or comments, please? No question, no comments. Kita sampai jam berapa ya? Sampai jam 5 ya. Oke. Yes, Arik.
So, ma'am, I just want to asking about from your perspective, is it monopoly is better than oligopoly and others or not?
Well, is monopoly better than the others? For a certain part, it is good. Yeah, it's better. Like the case of that I already told you about the company or a new country. Yeah, the government, they set a monopoly strategy for some companies. Yeah, it is in a certain time is good. Yeah, but monopoly actually if it's not belong to the government, so it's belong to the private, I don't think that is good for the community, for the people. Because in monopoly, actually in the pure monopoly, yeah, in the pure monopoly, the monopolies is not yang monopoli yang bukan government ya, itu biasanya they can set price as whatever they like gitu ya. Jadi harganya bisa dia set seberapa pun dia suka gitu ya. Jadi suka-suka dia ngeset harganya. Ya kalau monopoli yang di government kan ya harga tuh diset oleh pemerintah tapi harga yang murah gitu ya, harga yang can be afford by all the people in Indonesia, most of the people in Indonesia, ya especially orang-orang yang berpenghasilan rendah gitu kan. But in monopoly, the pure monopoly, they just don't care about the people, ya, they just care about how many profit that they can have ya by selling that product gitu. Jadi in a pure monopoly, I don't think is a good one ya, is a good one for our economy, gitu. I think that's my answer, Eric.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, so much about your perspective knowledge. Thank you so much.
Okay, good. Any comment or any question before I move to another part of our topic? Okay, if you don't have any question or comment, then I can move to how to maximize profit ya, how to maximize profit ya. How to maximize profit in each market structure. Ya, jadi setiap market structure itu punya strategi untuk memaksimumkan profit mereka. Gimana cara memaksimumkan profit mereka? Ya, ini kita bahas di sini mulai dari perfect competition. Ya, jadi kalau in perfect competition, as we know that this is you have to look closely here. This is the firm, yeah, this is for the firm, and this is for the market. Okay, yeah. This is the demand curve for the firm. This is demand curve for the firm. Jadi demand curve for the firm is for the perfect competition. They have a horizontal line, which is very elastic or close to perfect elastic. Yeah, perfect elastic. Maybe you still remember our last topic, yeah, elasticity. Okay, so jadi this is perfect elastic ya, close to perfect elastic. But that's for the firm. Jadi setiap penjual bala-bala, setiap penjual sayur di traditional market or fruits in traditional market, they have a horizontal demand curve. Ya, very elastic. Artinya apa? Substitusinya, there are many substitution for their product. Ya, jadi produk mereka itu punya banyak sekali substitusi. Ya, sehingga bentuknya horizontal. Ya, but in the market, it's not quite horizontal. There is a curve here, yeah, with a very not very steep tangency here, yeah, quite flat curve ya for the perfect competition. Ya, jadi kalau kita lihat di sini, ini karakteristik dari perfect competition. Kenapa? Because in perfect competition, the substitution there are a lot of substitution for the product itself. Ya, jadi banyak sekali substitusinya. Ya, tukang bala-bala di sini tutup, ya Anda pindah ke tukang bala-bala yang lain, nggak masalah gitu kan. Tukang bala-bala yang ada nambah lagi, ya Anda juga tambah seneng, nggak masalah gitu ya. Jadi, apa namanya, benar-benar sangat elastis ya, perfect elastis. Oke, nah kemudian, beda lagi kalau misalkan di, monopolistic competition. In a monopolistic competition and in oligopoly and in a monopoly, the demand curve-nya itu berbeda banget. Karena, yang fully, elastis or there are many substitute for the product is only in perfect competition. Ya, even in a monopolistic competition, the substitute product are only several. Ya, jadi nggak sebanyak yang di perfect competition. Let's say for example, what is our example? Our example here for the monopolistic competition, hotel, ya. Kemudian cafe or restaurant, they have brand, they have characteristic, ya, one hotels to another hotels, ya. And then the cafe and restaurant, maybe it's the same cafe. They have they sell same beverage like coffee or tea, but they give you they provide you other thing than coffee or tea. Yeah, they provide you with the ambience. They provide you with the the brand name, yeah, and they provide you with other things that make one cafe different with the other cafe. Ya, jadi karakteristiknya berbeda ya, berbeda walaupun sama-sama jualan kopi misalkan, ya. Jadi jualan kopi, kafe yang ini, let's say, dia menawarkan tadi ya, lingkungan yang berbeda atau tadi, apa namanya, branding yang berbeda ya, bagaimana cara pelayanannya dan lain-lain itu kan termasuk ke dalam branding, ya, dalam branding. Nah, jadi dia udah mulai nge-branding barangnya dia dan barangnya benar-benar, jadi barangnya tuh jadi berbeda dengan produk yang lain. Walaupun sama-sama kopi, walaupun sama-sama hotel, ya, walaupun sama-sama restoran gitu ya, tapi dia punya kemasannya dikemaskan dengan misalkan pelayanan yang berbeda, ya, itu membuat dia masuk ke dalam monopolistic competition. Jadi ada karakteristiknya, ya. Walaupun, produknya banyak. Oh, not this one. Nah, ini ya. Nah, jadi balik lagi ke sini. Jadi ini adalah the demand curve for the market and the firm for perfect competition. And how we set the marginal, the profit ya, to maximize the profit for the perfect competition. we have to know about this first. What is this marginal revenue? What is marginal cost and profit maximization? Anyone knows what is marginal revenue? What is it? What it is? The marginal revenue. Yeah, you can just read it here. Yeah, marginal revenue actually a change in revenue resulting from 1 unit increase in output. Jadi saya dalam bahasa Indonesia ya, dalam bahasa Indonesia jadi kalau marginal revenue itu kan pendapatan ya. Jadi pendapatan marginal or marginal revenue itu adalah tambahan pendapatan atau perubahan pendapatan atau tambahan pendapatan yang dihasilkan oleh perusahaan ketika menjual penambahan satu produk. Ya. Jadi change in revenue from 1 unit increase in output ya. Jadi dari 1 unit increase in output. Jadi hitungannya persatuan. Jadi kalau nambah satu penjualan itu revenue-nya nambahnya berapa? Nah, itu yang kita sebut dengan marginal revenue. Ya. Jadi for example di sini misalkan ada tukang jualan bala-bala ya. Jadi kalau harga bala-bala satu tuh harganya 1.000 perak. Ya. Kalau beli satu 1.000 perak, ya kan? Kalau beli 2 berapa? Kalau beli 2 jadi 2.000. Ya kan? Kalau beli 2 2.000. Nah, selisihnya ini from 2,000 to 1,000 is the difference is 1,000. This 1,000 we call it marginal revenue or MR. This is what we call the marginal revenue. Okay. So if the amount can sell 3 bala-bala, so he gonna have 3,000 rupiah. Yeah. And what is the marginal revenue? Marginal revenue is still the same, which is 3,000 minus 2,000 or 1,000 rupiah. Yeah. So from here we can just this is like a hint for us for a perfect competition market. Actually the marginal revenue equal to what? Equal to the price itself. Ya, jadi kalau dia penambahannya ya tergantung dari harganya. Jadi selalu sama. Marginal revenue-nya selalu sama dengan harganya. Ya. Okay, so this is what we call the marginal revenue. And what is the marginal cost? The marginal cost with the same similar way we can say that a marginal cost is the change in the cost resulting from 1 unit increase in in output ya, change in cost ya. Jadi ini adalah perubahan dari biayanya. Perubahan dari biayanya ketika kita memproduksi penambahan satu produk. Jadi kalau misalkan memproduksi 5 produk ya, memproduksi 5 produk misalkan itu biayanya adalah misalkan 1 juta. Oke, 1 juta. Nah, kalau memproduksi 6 produk berapa? Memproduksi 6 produk misalkan biayanya adalah 1.200.000. Ya, ini biaya ya, ini cost. Ini product quantity. Jadi kalau dari sini kita tahu MC-nya berapa? Marginal cost-nya. The marginal cost is the difference from producing 5 to 6 product ya. The cost of producing 5 to 6. Jadi di sini marginal cost-nya adalah 200.000. Okay, so 200,000 is the marginal cost-nya. Ya, dari 5 ke 6. Jadi dihitungnya adalah per 1 unit increase ya, per 1 unit increase. Itu yang disebut dengan marginal. Ya, jadi marginal itu adalah perubahan karena ada penambahan 1 ya, naik 1 produk gitu ya. Entah itu bisa jadi biaya, itu bisa jadi revenue ya. Nah, itu adalah what we call the marginal revenue and marginal cost, okay? If we're talking about profit, what is profit? Profit is basically is the sales. This is the sales, yeah. Sorry. This is profit or fee. Profit itu sama dengan sales. R ini sales, ya. Sales itu adalah apa? Anyone knows what is sales? Sales is number quantity sold multiplied by the price, right? Itu we call it sales, and then C is the cost. Jadi sales minus the cost, we can have the profit. Jadi kita dapat untung kalau penjualan kita dikurangin dengan semua biaya-biaya masih ada angkanya yang kita sebut dengan profit. Ya, itu adalah laba atau profit. Oke. Nah, actually if this is the function of profit, and this is little bit mathematically ya, and maybe little bit abstract for you, but gimana ya? Oke deh, just brief for this. Cepat aja ya. Jadi ini ada fungsinya. This is the function of the sales ya, profit, function of profit. Jadi pada dasarnya marginal revenue and marginal cost itu diturunin dari fungsi ini ya. It differentiates first differentiation of the function of profit. Oke, nah dari sini kan kita bisa ngelihat bahwa di sini ada RQ, di sini adalah the sales ya, salesnya, and this is the cost. Oke. So kalau ini kita kita cari, ini kan bentuknya kurva ya. If you remember in high school, if you want to find a maximum point of the curve, you have to make a first differentiation for that function, right? So you're gonna have a maximum point or you're gonna have a minimum point for that curve. Nah, this is the same as well for this function. Yeah, for this function, because this is the curve, the cost is the curve and the sales is the curve. So if you want to make a maximum, maksimasi, we have to make a first differentiation for that function. Oke, masih ingat ya? Jadi kita turunan pertamanya. Nah, turunan pertamanya dari cost itu apa? Turunan pertama dari fungsi cost itu adalah marginal cost. Ya. Nah, turunan pertama dari fungsi sales itu apa? Adalah marginal revenue. Ya. Sehingga di sini kita bisa bilang bahwa fungsi ini kan maksimum ketika turunan pertamanya itu sama dengan 0. Ya kan berarti marginal cost-nya itu sama dengan 0 dan marginal revenue juga sama dengan 0. Atau ketika MC sama dengan MR. Ya. Nah, MC dan MR itu pada dasarnya apa? Tangensi ini kan, garis yang melintasi titik A dan titik B. Nah, ini garis ini sejajar ya. Dari sini sejajar, is parallel. Then they have pada kondisi sama dengan 0. Jadi sini yang paling tinggi, yang paling maksimum, yang lainnya ya. Paling maksimum, titik yang paling maksimum yang bisa dicapai oleh keduanya. Ya, titik maksimum yang bisa dicapai oleh keduanya. Oke. Oke, jadi ini itu cara nuruninnya ya, tapi kita kayaknya waktunya ini kurang banyak. Kemudian profit maksimasi ini mungkin kita langsung aja ke ini ya. Jadi kondisinya itu adalah this is the condition that you have to memorize. Sorry guys, that you have to memorize this. We thought I don't have any I cannot offer myself to explain this for you because we have very limited time and we still have another to cover. Yeah, so please just memorize this. This is the condition for the profit maximization for the perfect competition. Yeah, the condition is MC has to be equal with MR because tadi for my example. Marginal revenue is always the same with the price. So the MC is equal with MR and equal to the price. Jadi kondisinya tiga ini sama ya, MC, MR dan P-nya has to be equal. Okay, has to be equal. This is the condition. This is under. You can see this from this table, and you can learn more about the marginal revenue and marginal cost. This is actually the difference, yeah, for the additional product here, ya. Ini add one, jadi ada ininya ya, the difference of the change, ya, the change. Okay. Nah, di sini, so from here, maybe I just can skip this, and then we make this kind of graph. It looks like complicated graph. Sorry, but it's actually I want you just sorry again that you have to take this for granted. Ya, just aja ambil aja lah ya. Just memorize it ya. Sorry, you just need to memorize it. So the things that you have to be understand that for the perfect competition, the demand curve, this is the demand curve, yeah, for the firm. It looks like horizontal, right? For seperti the slide that we had before, and in previous slide, which is the demand curve is equal to the price and equal to the marginal revenue. Ya, jadi garisnya horizontal ini, ya, ini adalah demand curve-nya. And then you have to memorize as well the marginal curve. The marginal curve is always like the Nike sign. The checklist like this. This is the marginal curve. Yeah, so please remember that. And then there is average total cost and average variable cost. This is look like a checklist, but it's not as steep as marginal cost. Ya, jadi kayak U-shape ya. There's a curve U-shape for the average total cost and average variable cost. Ya. Here if you want to know whether the firms are making a profit or loss, yeah, we have to make the condition of maximizing profit condition, which is the MC has to be equal with the MR. Yeah, the MC equal with MR in this point. Yeah, because this is the MC curve. Yeah, the blue one, and the red one here is the MR curve. So they are crossing in here in MC MC equal to MR. Yeah. So if we take a line down here goes to the x axis or the Q for the quantity, we have this is the quantity maximum. Ya. Jadi di sini quantity yang membuat profit menjadi maksimum. Ya, jadi quantity yang harus dijual oleh perusahaan kalau perusahaannya mau mendapatkan profit maksimum. Besarnya adalah di Q bintang ini. Oke, itu terjadi di MC sama dengan MR. Perpotongan antara kurva MC dan kurva MR. Ya, jadi sini maksimum. Nah, kemudian garis yang ini has to be crossing with the average total cost. Ya, if they're crossing with average total cost under the demand curve, then they're gonna make a profit here. But if the this line, the quantity, yeah, the quantity maximum is crossing the average total cost above, yeah, above the demand curve. For example, if the ATC is up right here, yeah. So this company will not make any profit. They're gonna have a loss. Yeah. Then we can just make this line and then make it crossing to the ATC here, and this is the loss that they made. Yeah. So this is the loss, and this is profit. Okay. So now I think you know how to make maximum profit, yeah, for the perfect competition. Yeah, the condition is has to be MC has to be equal with the MR. Ya, marginal cost has to be equal with marginal revenue. Oke, nah ini contohnya. Kalau ini impas ya, kalau impas berarti ETC-nya sama di sini semuanya. MC sama dengan MR sama dengan ETC semuanya di situ. Ya. Oke. Nah, ini profit maximizing. I think that's the profit maximizing for perfect competition. Now we're gonna talking about the monopolistic competition. We already discussed this. The difference for the perfect competition and for the monopolistic competition is in the demand curve and the marginal revenue curve-nya. Yeah, as we know, in a perfect competition, the demand curve, this is the demand curve, equal to the marginal revenue, yeah, equal to the price, and is horizontal. There are only one line, horizontal line. But for monopolistic competition, yeah, this is the demand curve, yeah, we call it, we're talking about demand curve. But for the monopolistic competition, this is the demand curve, and this is the marginal return curve. So they are different. They are not in a horizontal line, but they have some, they are downward slope, ya. Di mana demand and marginal revenue-nya itu berpisah, ya. Mereka nggak di satu garis yang sama. Nah, kemudian gimana caranya how we determine the profit maksimum, ya, profit maksimasi. Sama, profit maksimasinya terjadi di MC sama dengan MR. Oke, MC-nya mana? If this is MC kan tadi kan bentuknya MC itu pokoknya kayak Nike sign aja ya. Checklist gitu ya. Nah, misalnya saya gambarin aja di sini. Nah, ini adalah MC-nya. Oke. So where is the profit maksimasi here? When when the profit maximum happen, in what point? Keadaan di MC sama dengan MR, ya. MR and MC berarti dia di perpotongannya di sini. This is profit maksimum terjadi. Kita tarik garis ke bawah, ya. This is the quantity, ya. Quantity, jumlah barang yang harus dihasilkan oleh perusahaan kalau perusahaan ingin mendapatkan profit maksimum. Ya, ini. Ya, jumlah, this is the quantity that the firms has to produce if the firms want to have a maximum profit. Okay, this is we call it Q star. Yeah, this is the Q star. And we don't have any decision yet about the price. Kalau tadi di sini kan harganya udah ditentukan sama pasar ya, demand-nya itu ya marginal revenue-nya ya harganya. Kalau di perfect competition. Kalau untuk monopolistic competition dia bisa men-set harganya tergantung dari demand-nya. Nah, ini kita tarik garis ke atas ya. We can just continue this line to crossing the D curve here. Yeah. So we can just put it into the left because this is the price. So we know this is the P star. Jadi ini dia harga yang membuat perusahaan tersebut mendapatkan profit maksimum. Sorry ya, this is very abstract ya. Yeah, so you have to have an ability to see it in the graph, ya, to see the explanation from the graph. Oke, jadi di sini we can find here. Jadi we found the price that make the firm's profit maximum, and we have the quantity that make the firms have a maximum profit. Ya, jadi di sini harganya jadi beda-beda. Makanya tadi yang jualan kopi ya, yang jualan yang punya hotel, yang punya restoran, dia bisa kasih harga sendiri-sendiri. Bisa berbeda antara satu kedai kopi dengan kedai kopi yang lainnya. Ya, karena dia punya demand-nya juga berbeda. Demand-nya dia berbeda dengan demand perusahaan yang lainnya. Ya, berbeda dengan tadi yang produknya yang sifatnya perfect, persaingan sempurna. ya, perfect competition. Kalau perfect competition kan produknya sama semua. Ya, kalau di sini produknya ada diferensiasi, ada perbedaan. Ya, sehingga dia bisa memasang harga. Nah, ketika dia bisa memasang harga ini, kita sebut dia sebagai monopoli. Karena hanya perusahaan yang sifatnya monopoli yang bisa men-set harga. Oke, jadi harganya itu bisa kita set. Ya, jadi orang itu bisa jualan sesuai dengan produknya dia, karakteristik produknya dia, gitu ya. Oke. Jadi kayak contohnya sekarang kan banyak banget ya kedai kopi, kopi kenangan, kopi lain hati, kopi apa hati lagi, apalah banyak sekali ya, so many kedai kopi. Ya, they can set their own price. Ya, they don't care about their competitor because they provide or they offer other dimension of their product ya or service gitu. Jadi dia emang sengaja dia jadi nggak terlalu peduli dengan harga dari pesaingnya karena dia menawarkan dimensi dimensi karakteristik dari produknya itu berbeda dengan pesaingnya. Gitu. Ya. Karena Anda bisa bedain ya, kalau misalkan Anda penggemar kopi ya, Anda bisa coba aja pergi ke kopi lain hati, terus kopi yang lain lagi gitu ya. Atau kopi Jawa atau misalkan kopi apa. They have characteristic. Ya, they have characteristic. Oke. Makanya dia bisa menentukan harga di sini. Oke, any question or comment? Gak ada? Mudah-mudahan
No,
yes.
ma'am, it's good.
Okay.
It's good, ma'am.
Okay, it's good. Okay, I hope you can follow me ya. Even though this is quite abstract. Oke, nah kemudian kalau yang di oligopoli, itu bentuknya ini. Demand curve-nya, this is demand curve for the oligopoly ya. This is for oligopoly. Demand curve-nya disebut kinkit, bengkok ya. Jadi kalau tadi kita lihat demand curve-nya untuk perfect competition garis lurus di mana MR ini sama dengan P sama dengan demand-nya. Ya, untuk perfect competition. Kalau untuk monopolistic competition itu bentuknya adalah seperti ini MR-nya dan ini demand-nya. Ya, ini demand-nya dan MR. Ya, kalau untuk oligopoli dia kinkit, dia bengkok. Ya, kalau ini kan lurus ya, ini lurus. Ini juga lurus. Ini kalau ini dia bengkok. Kenapa? Karena kalau sifatnya ini oligopoli ya, they cannot set price by themselves. Ya, jadi di oligopoli ini para perusahaan the firms in the oligopoly market structure, if they want to set price, they have to see and wait for their competitor. Jadi mereka memperhatikan kompetitornya. Kalau kompetitornya naikin harga, dia harus gimana nih? Naikin harga juga atau nurunin harga? Ya. Jadi benar-benar mereka sangat tergantung. They very depend on their competitor. Ya, when they make they want to set the price. Ya, beda banget tadi ya dengan yang monopolistic competition, dia bisa ngeset price terserah dia karena dia punya demand sendiri buat produknya dia. Nah, kalau yang oligopoli, dia harus hati-hati. Dia pasti ngelihat they want to wait and see of their competitor how they set price and then they may follow it or they just attack the price. Ya, jadi kadang-kadang kayak beberapa waktu yang lalu mungkin Anda juga belum lahir kali ya. Ada perang harga tuh dari internet provider, bukan internet ya dulu masih jarang internet, apa istilahnya, operator telepon seluler, ya itu kan ada kuotanya istilahnya, pulsa, jualan pulsa. Itu kan sempat mereka, ada perang harga ya, pricing war ya, jadi benar-benar ngelihat dia ngasih harga berapa, kita bisa kasih harga lebih murah lagi. Nanti dia ngasih harga lebih murah lagi, kita kasih harga lebih murah lagi. Jadi benar-benar perang harga gitu ya. Nah, itu yang terjadi di oligopoli. Karena apa? Karena pemainnya cuma sedikit. Ya, pemainnya cuma sedikit sehingga yang make sementara banyak dan pilihannya cuma sedikit. cuman beberapa perusahaan itu aja gitu ya. Itu namanya oligopoli. Nah, nah kenapa dia bentuknya kinkit? Kenapa dia bentuknya? Why is it bending like this or kink? Ya, pertama kalau di oligopoli, if the firms they increase their price, ya, like for example, this is a McD and BK ya, Burger King dan McD misalkan. Sama-sama burger, they all same burger. And we consider them as a oligopoly, okay? If McDonald they increase their price, ya, pasti pembeli yang tadinya beli McDonald, they gonna shift to BK, right? So the BK will have more buyer than McD, right? So the sales or the income for the McD will going down, yeah. But for BK will be increasing, yeah. So in this situation, the firms who act in an oligopoly market, they don't want to increase the price, yeah, because if they increase the price, their customer will move to another company, ya. Jadi dari sini we can see the demand curve here looks like elastis ya, bentuknya elastis ya, bentuknya nggak terlalu ya bentuknya elastis ya, hampir horizontal. Karena apa? Karena if the McD they increase the price, BK will not increase their price. Biarin aja McD aja yang naikin harganya. Saya mah nggak mau naikin harga. Pasti pelanggannya McD akan pindah ke BK. Ya, jadi yang di BK ya udah biarin aja, dia nggak akan mau naikin harga. Ya, jadi sifatnya barangnya jadi substitusi. Jadi orang bisa pindah dari McD ke BK. Artinya kan McD dan BK menjadi sebuah barang substitusi. Ya kan? Jadi sifatnya mereka bisa saling substitusi. Ya untuk hal ini ketika harga dinaikin. Oke. Tapi ketika misalkan McD nurunin harga, ya, ketika McD nurunin harga, pasti BK juga ikut-ikutan nurunin harga. Karena BK nggak mau kehilangan pelanggannya pergi ke McD yang harganya jadi lebih murah. Ya, makanya di saat ini ketika harganya itu turun, when the price is lower, ya, or decreasing, we can see here the demand curve is getting steeper. Is much steeper than the first demand curve in here. Ya, jadi kenapa? Because in here people will act inelastic. Ya, the customer will act inelastic to the product of McD or BK. Ya, jadi ya tetap aja stick dia di produknya BK. Misalnya kalau BK nurunin harga, kemudian juga pasti diikutin sama McD, ya balik lagi dia ke BK. Ya yang loyal sama McD, ya balik lagi dia ke McD. Ya kan, jadi sifatnya inelastis. Oke, jadi so in here they have a steep demand. So that is why there is kink here. Ya, for the oligopoly, usually have a kink demand curve. Tuh, oke. Nah, MC-nya terjadi di sisi demand curve and the MC-nya itu ada gap, ya, marginal revenue-nya itu ada gap di sini, ya, di sini ada MC, so we can see here that the gap, the MC is actually happen in the gap from the MR curve, ya. Jadi MR bentuknya kan mirip seperti yang monopolistic competition ini ya, demand-nya di atas, kemudian MR-nya di bawah. Cuman bedanya yang satu bengkok, yang satu lagi ada gap-nya, MR-nya ada gap-nya. Ya, itu bedanya di oligopoli. Jadi emang di oligopoli nggak bisa ngeset harga ya. Kalau ngeset harga itu pasti ya itu tadi, entah ya biarin aja dia harganya tinggi didiemin nanti bangkrut sendiri, or kalau dia nurunin harga pasti jadi perangin harga gitu ya. Jadi itu emang strateginya perusahaan-perusahaan yang ada di oligopoli. Oke, itu. Nah, sekarang bedanya dengan di monopoli. Nah, ini kalau monopoli ya. Monopoli gambarnya mirip seperti yang di monopolistic competition ya, monopolistic competition. Jadi ada D sini demand, kemudian ada MR here. Ya. Jadi tapi bedanya ya kalau tadi MC sama dengan MR ya, this is the perfect competition ya, di monopolistic competition dia adanya di sini ya. Jadi dijualannya di sini quantity yang harus diproduksinya. Tapi kalau di monopoli quantity yang harus diproduksinya itu adalah ketika MC sama dengan MR dan dia kenakan ke D-nya sini ya di monopoli. Jadi dia di sini harganya lebih tinggi dibandingkan dengan harga yang MC sama dengan MR. Kalau yang di apa namanya perfect competition D-nya itu kan sama dengan MR ya. Jadi D-nya sama dengan MR. Jadi D-nya sama dengan MR tuh berarti kan adanya di sini ya. Perpotongannya ya. Kita bandinginnya. Nah, kalau misalkan dia di monopoli, dia tuh benar-benar di MR-nya. Jadi perpotongan antara MR dengan MC-nya. Nah, ini kemudian kita potongin ke demand-nya sehingga kita lihat di sini the price is much higher than the perfect competition. Then they only provide less quantity. Jadi nggak bisa semua orang beli. Ya, jadi kalau monopoli kan tergantung dia mau ngeset harga berapa suka-suka dia. Yang mau beli berapa juga terserah dia, yang penting dia udah ngeset saya mau untung sekian. Gitu ya, sehingga dia harus ngeset harganya berapa. Terserah yang mau beli berapa. Pasti ada yang mau beli, tapi nggak semua orang bisa beli, gitu kan. Jadi nggak semua orang bisa beli. Makanya di sini ada yang disebut dengan welfare loss ya, ada hilangnya kesejahteraan. Makanya biasanya monopoli ini dipegang sama pemerintah. Kalau dipegang sama pemerintah harganya dia nggak akan di atas tapi di bawah. Ya, tapi dirubah jadi di bawah. Ya, karena yang ini disubsidi sama pemerintah. Ya, untuk dapetin ke sini disubsidi oleh pemerintah. Ya, tapi kalau the firm that act as a monopolies, ya, they have this characteristic, ya, they can set their price and they can just choose what consumer they want. Ya. Jadi ya udah terserah dia nih, saya mau konsumer yang kayak tipenya kayak gini aja, yang mau beli produk saya hargain mahal juga is okay aja, saya produk satu-satunya gitu ya. Jadi itu yang terjadi di monopoli. Oke, any question or any thought or comment please? We are almost running out of time. Yeah, we getting closer to the end. Everybody alright here? Is good? Bisa ngikutin nggak? Did you follow me? Oke,
Ya,
oke
slow.
then. Oke. Ya, jadi sekarang kita masuk ke terakhir, this is yang terakhir, the subtopic, the last subtopic which is the barriers to entry ya. Jadi tadi halangan buat masuk ya. Jadi ada yang sifatnya natural, ada yang sifatnya economy of scale, ada yang sifatnya government created monopoly. Nah, ini tadi yang disebutin ya oleh Abdullah, jadi government created monopoly dia ciptain paten, lisensi, franchise ya. Itu buat memprotek. Ya, jadi emang sengaja dihambat ya other firms to get into that certain of product or service. Oke, kalau natural ability ya karena ini adalah because there's only secara natural ya emang dia bisa seperti itu gitu ya, sehingga nggak mungkin di-copy oleh tempat lain karena tempat lain nggak punya apa namanya natural ability seperti itu. Contohnya mungkin adalah Tukang cukur rambut, ya tukang cukur rambut itu kan natural ability-nya kalau misalkan bilang tukang cukur rambut dari Garut, nah itu pasti banyak ya. Jadi tukang cukur itu kan dari Garut ya, apa namanya, yang terkenalnya ya kan, itu kan karena natural ability, jadi orang Garut itu yang cowok punya natural ability buat cukur rambut cowok gitu ya. Jadi, ya itu jadi barrier to entry-nya di situ, nggak semua orang bisa jadi tukang cukur, kayak tukang cukur dari Garut gitu kan. Itu adalah barrier to entry yang sifatnya adalah natural, ya. Kemudian, the other things is, the other example is for the like, apa namanya, eee barang-barang yang sifatnya lokal dan, apa, kerajinan tangan, craft ya, something like craft. Jadi seperti kayak di Bali atau di Jogja itu ada pengrajin or a silver crafter or a gold crafter. Nah itu karena dia punya ability ke sana. Nggak semua orang can have a ability or a company have an ability to, craft, silver or gold ya. Jadi itu juga terproteksi secara alamiah. Karena di lokasi itu emang banyak orang-orang yang, punya keahlian untuk membuat, kerajinan silver atau, emas ya, atau emas gitu ya. Itu adalah natural ability. Nah kalau economies of scale, nah ini adalah, natural monopoly ya, jadi natural monopoly jadi ketika contohnya ini adalah Microsoft tadi. Nih contoh bagusnya itu adalah Microsoft. Jadi karena Microsoft itu sudah economy of scale-nya, jadi dia udah semua orang pakai barangnya dia memproduksi itu udah paling murah banget. Pasti biayanya dia rendah banget, ya kan. Karena, produknya udah dipakai di mana-mana, dia juga produksinya udah banyak sekali gitu ya, sehingga, biaya produksinya itu sangat rendah. Nah kalau misalkan ada tadi, startup-startup yang mau bikin kayak Microsoft ya, operating system gitu ya, mereka pasti punya they gonna have a higher expenses, ya, dengan tingginya biaya ini aja udah nggak bisa berkompetisi sama Microsoft, dari biayanya pertama, ya. And the second one dari penggunanya, pengunanya juga pasti mikir-mikir kayak saya bilang tadi, "Ini kompatibel nggak kalau saya pakai ini? Nanti saya bisa, kerja sama nggak sama teman saya yang pakainya Microsoft?" Gitu ya, "Akan susah apa enggak tukar-tukaran datanya?" Misalkan seperti itu. Ya kan, jadi yang pertama dari harganya, yang kedua tadi dari penggunanya. Jadi dengan economies of scale ini actually, the firms, can have naturally monopoly ya. Jadi secara monopolinya ya jadi terjadi secara natural aja gitu ya. Jadinya, ya untuk saat ini, masih Microsoft yang pegang, apa namanya, yang pegang monopoli ini gitu ya. Karena itu tadi dia punya apa, the price not price, and the expense ya, the cost that they have to expend, the expense cost is quite little ya, quite minimum ya, and it is very hard to be beat ya by other company, especially for the newcomer ya, that usually have a higher cost for that and sehingga nggak bisa they cannot be survive in the industry ya. Itu, for the talking about barriers to entry. Do you have any question or comment? No question, no comments? Beneran nih. Okay, if you don't have any question and comment, then I think, we, have enough for today, ya. This is, the end of our class this afternoon. Hopefully that you all can follow ya what I, explain, this afternoon. Mudah-mudahan jadi lebih paham dibandingin tadi sebelum masuk ke kelas saya ya, dengan, beberapa, new term ya, yang Anda pelajari hari ini. Oke, nah saya seperti biasa, I give you another chance ya to improve your score for the for the quiz. So I give you sometimes until 1 minute before midnight today, to do a second chance of the quiz, okay. Okay, good. There's only
Okay,
Abdullah
ma'am.
who appear here. Yeah, okay. Please, anyone, will you open your camera, please? So I can see your face. Arik, Fajar. Who else here? Still with me? Jeremy, Nawatra, all the boys here. I don't see the girls. Oh, Dinda. There's Dinda and Hilman. Asmi, there's Asmi as well. There's only one girls among the boys. Then Dimas Saputra. Okay. Okay, good. Then thank you very much for today, guys. Hopefully that we always be healthy and don't forget to be happy. Yeah. So we'll see you again next week, inshallah. Yeah, with another topic and another topic and another story. Okay. So hopefully that what we learned today is can be useful not only for us, and hopefully you enjoy the class this afternoon. Okay, see you again later next week. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
Thank you, ma'am.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Nice
Thank
to
you,
meet you.
ma'am.
See you later.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good.
See you later,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Have a nice day.